Hi, everybody. It's Tim from thermoforming.tech. And this is the first video of a series which we decided to call Thermoforming Talks, where we discuss thermoforming business, thermoforming as business, and insights and ideas about entering the industry. So let's say the first video here will be about having an idea of entering thermoforming business. I doubt that somebody wakes up in the middle of the night and is having this idea, I want to start thermoforming business. No, it doesn't happen like that for sure for nobody of us. So, according to my experience and according to all the projects which I've met in 15 years, there are a couple of ways how you get to the idea of making your thermoforming production as a business. And it starts with the understanding of how you get there, and it's 90% cases it's connected with the added value chain. So it's an extension to the existing added value chain which you have, and there are options for this. For example, you are an extrusion company and you're making sheet and you're selling sheet to your customers, and at some moment you realize that the added value is not enough and you want to grow and you want to get bigger. But with the sheet itself, you cannot make it. And you add thermoforming as a next step, and you sell product with a higher added value, and you increase your business this way. Another option is going from the back, and you are a reseller or a dealer, and you sell thermoforming packaging. And at some moment, due to multiple reasons, you realize that you cannot proceed like this and you need to get your own production. There are different reasons why you get this idea, but you go one step back. Well, there is another way, and it's also connected. You can be an end user. You use the packaging in your production, and you realize at some moment that the suppliers which are there on the market, they cannot solve some of your problems. Or maybe, for example, you want to make a side business and integrate it to your added value chain and to get some additional money for the packaging which you process. And this is also possible, and we know projects which happen in this scenario, and some of them are quite successful. Also, another interesting option is the parallel added value chain. And it's a situation when you are making something else, for example, blow molding or injection molding or any other type of plastics processing, and your dealers, your distribution channel tells you, you are doing great. And if you could add thermoforming, we could sell it as well because there are same customers who are using it. One more example is the cover films or the stretch films. Like many different types of packaging, like non-rigid packaging, many of them. So they tell you, if you would also make these and these container, we could sell it to the same customer, and we would have the product range which would support each other, and it will be easier to get more customers for us. And then you start this thermoforming as a parallel to your main business activity. And one of the last ways how you get to thermoforming is quite a rare case when you are not connected with the thermoforming at all, but you find an opportunity and you see that there is a pain in the market and the packaging is the cure for this pain, and you know exactly how to deliver this cure to that pain. And you enter thermoforming with no background. The rare case, but still it might be there, and it might happen that you go that way, and some projects are quite successful also if they're starting like this. So if this is one of your cases, then it's clear why you're deciding to make thermoforming business. If it is not, give a comment how you've got to this idea. It's also interesting for us to know if there are multiple other ways of getting to thermoforming. And let's say that you decided that you go there. And what should be the first step? And what should be the first decision which you make, or the first analysis? There are many things which you have to analyze and many things which you have to calculate. But I would say that you should start with understanding of the money in the system. Like if we say that thermoforming production is a system, like any other system, it needs energy. And for the business as a system, money is the energy. And we need to get clarity how money are coming to the system and what happens with them after. So the incoming energy is the investment in the beginning, and then later the payments from your customer are the incoming energy to your system. And then this money which get into the system, they are distributed in a couple of channels. And the first one, the most important one for you if you want to start the business, is the money which is transferred to the super system, to the owner as dividends. And you need to clarify what money you can get there and how you will get them. But for sure, you cannot make this calculation without understanding how money will be consumed by the system. And here we have a split three different types of costs. And the first one is the money which your system consumes in the process of product creation. And all of those costs are variable costs or totally variable costs, which are changing with the changing of your output. And these money are usually, first of all, it's the material. This is clear that if you process the material, you have some product which is getting out of your system, you have some waste which you have to sell or reprocess. And then there is electricity which your equipment spends. And there can be part of the salary if the salary is paid for the output and not as a general salary monthly payment, which is constant. And also there are sales TVC, transportation, packaging, maybe agents commissions, which must be paid to your distribution network. And this is like one big group of costs. The second one is the money which your system is paying for keeping the system's integrity, and those are operating costs. And operating costs are like all the types of rent which you have, the electricity which is not consumed in the production process, the salary of your people, and any other costs which you can imagine. But that's not all. There is one more point where you should keep in mind, and this is inventory and the cash flow of your project. You have to invest for equipment and all the capex, they become this inventory, and material which is cycled in the process, this is also inventory, and the cash flow which business must have and must keep for its integrity. So this is clear that there is incoming energy, and then you have three ways of how you spend the energy. It's TVC, inventory, and operating expenses. All the rest money are the money which are sent to super system and transferred there. And I think this is very important for understanding of the thermoforming business as a concept. So once we clarify this and it is clear, okay, this is the energetical system which we have, we need to clarify the core KPIs for our thermoforming production. And based on the costs and the money which we discussed, the best KPI, which I think the most important one, and it gives the integral understanding of what's happening in your thermoforming business, is the added value to your costs, to the TVC, to the operating expense, or like there are many ways how to calculate it, and we can discuss it in the other videos. So added value per kilogram gives a clear understanding and comparison product to product which you are producing. Added value per machine hour is another way of checking your added value, and it's very important for the company because it allows to compare the products on the equipment timeline. And sooner or later, any thermoforming company finds out that the bottleneck is the machine time, and machines are expensive, and it's not that easy to buy a new machine and install it. So you should be wise here, and tracking added value per machine hour is really important. Finally, you need to check the added value for the entire volume of the production for each product to understand how much money you generate on this product or that product. And then you summarize them all and you get the clarity on how much money system generates after costs are covered and operating expenses are covered. And this is the money which can be used either for the development of your business or paid as dividends to the super system, the owner of your product. And when you have these KPIs cleared, it is becoming much easier to make all the decisions and to choose the equipment based on those KPIs. And this is the next step, because I believe if you've already tried to check the equipment, and I know this is another big kind of mistake when you decide to make thermoforming business, you start with the choice of the equipment and not an analysis of the business as a system. So if you already checked a couple of equipment parameters, you have found out that the parameters which you get from the supplier, from their website, from their offer, they are not connected with those KPIs which we've just discussed. You cannot easily calculate the added value based on forming area, based on machine cutting tonnage, based on installed electrical power of the machine, and all of these parameters which will help you to clarify your output, but not connected with the KPIs which we discussed directly. And the next step there is adding a mold, and mold will give you the number of products. You can estimate the speed of the production, you can estimate the efficiency of the production. So you will have like the product and the waste which left from the sheet which you've produced or you've purchased. And this is the next big step, creating a system which allows to transform machine indicators and machine parameters to the indicators which are important to you, to your added value calculations. Then finally, when you have clarified this and you can make an assumption of that this machine is better than that machine because it generates more added value per hour or per kilogram or in total, then you can make the comparison for the payback time and all other economical parameters. But stopping there and making decision based on these calculations and based on this modeling is really bad thing if you are going to make a production, because the thermoforming production is a complex process and there are lots of things you need to check as well. And as a next step, there is amazing framework which we are using in thermoforming.tech when we are helping our customers. And this is a 4 forces model which you must analyze before you make your final choice of the equipment. There, the market, the competitors, suppliers, and your own resources. Then you should keep in mind that there is like a threat of a new capital coming to the market. But this is something we're going to discuss in the next videos. And as an outline of this first thermoforming talks video, just to summarize everything, first, track how you get to this idea of making thermoforming business. Check your added value chain. Where are you? Where are your competitors there? And check if your added value chain is at least the same length as they have, because otherwise you will be definitely in a big problem. So after you clarified how you get there, track your KPIs and try to understand how the costs are distributed in your project, and make an assumption on how much money you would like to get from the system as the dividends or the energy which is transferred to your super system. Then clarify your KPIs. Maybe you will find another ones and we are ready to discuss it and to help you with understanding if those KPIs are like really good for your case. And then after you clarify those, you proceed to the equipment analysis and you sort the equipment based on how good they perform with the KPIs you have decided to track. And then you can proceed to the 4 forces model analysis, which will help you to clarify all the other questions. So thank you very much for your time. And for sure, we'll be making more videos about thermoforming. And I hope you will subscribe to our channel, ask your comments, or if you want to discuss the project, you can book a meeting with us or contact me on LinkedIn. Have a great day. Thank you.